What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm gonna show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, deep fried, amazing scratch-made fish and chips with some smoked battered sausage. And we can't forget the mushy peas and the curry sauce. Coming up! This is some pork. Ooh, pat it dry. And what I got here is some chunks of pork butt from the shoulder and some chunks of pork belly. And together we should have a really good fat ratio on this sausage. And because I'm using my bigger grinder today, I don't think I really need to do anything. Might make these big chunks of pork belly a little bit smaller. But other than that, really convenient that they sell it chunked up like this. But I'm gonna weigh this all out so I know exactly how to make my spice calculations. And this worked out to be exactly 4 pounds. So I'm gonna pop this into the freezer for a little bit to get nice and cold before we grind it up. Next up, let's get our spices ready. Starting with some kosher salt, some white pepper, dry mustard, granulated garlic, some thyme, some mace, some sage, and probably one of my favorite binders of all time, which is the bull binder. Going pretty heavy with the binder today for a specific type of texture. And if you're unfamiliar with this stuff, it's made of corn and wheat and stuff, and it adds a really cool texture, kind of like a meatloaf, but not quite as breadcrumby. It's very interesting, and it tastes a lot like the bangers and every other sausage I had when I was over in Europe and in the UK. And just get that all nice and mixed up. Now, I think typically in European and UK sausages, you're gonna use a lot of rusk, right?
Right.
And rusk is like the crumbles of a biscuit, essentially.
Yeah, we watched that video the other day. It's like flour and water baked and then ground.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't have any of that. I will try to make some at some point because I've been hearing about it for a while. But today, I think the bull flour is gonna work very well. Oh, Dave, it's so heavy. Oh, God. Going for the fine die today. And now that the meat is nice and cold, through the grinder we go. Oops. And we're just gonna send it through once. But just like that, a nice, clean, pebbly grind, very happy about that. And the sausage I had during the battered sausage was not quite emulsified like a hot dog, but it did have a pretty tight bind on it, which is why I went through the small die. And I'm also gonna throw it in the mixer to mix it up really well. Just kind of approach that emulsified texture, and also it'll make my life really easy because I don't have to use my hands as much. And then we go with all of our spices. And after just a couple of seconds, we got all the spices evenly distributed. So now we're gonna go in with our liquid, which is just some water today. And just like that, this is looking really good and smelling great too. So out it comes. And looking nice, very tacky. I gotta start using that thing more often for sausage making. It's very convenient, although it is a lot more dishes to have to clean. And now, it's time to get this cased up. So the flavor profile I'm going for is kind of just like a typical English sausage that I had. They all kind of had a similar flavor to them other than the same similar texture, which is a little bit of that mace and the sage. It's kind of like approaching a breakfast sausage, but not quite as much sage. And so far, it's smelling really good. Going on with some natural hog casings today. These are 29 to 32 mil hog casings, which are a little bit smaller than the typical Texas size link. And that's because, you know, once this is battered up and fried, I don't want it to be too gigantic. Man, this is a long one. Tie it off, snip the tip, and we case. Going for some pretty average size weens today. Twist away, and we're just gonna knock this out. And just like that, all cased up. And I must say, I'm loving how these are looking. That color is great. They're smelling really good. And this is a fresh sausage, so all we need to do now is fire up the pit. So we got the old Chud Pit 65 fired up there. I apologize for the road noise, but Dave's also making sausage right now. You're making on Dewey for your seafood boil video, which I'm very excited about because I love a good seafood boil. But because my sausage is fresh, I don't technically want to do a true cold smoke on it, but I do want to get some good smoke flavor on it. We're kind of veering away from tradition here. With a typical battered sausage, you said it's got a collagen casing on it and they're super straight.
Yeah, they're definitely really straight, so I don't think they're natural. Whether they're collagen, they're some kind of synthetic casing for sure.
But I don't have any of those, so we're gonna use the natural casings today. And I do wanna make sure that they're cooked to about 150 degrees. And if we get a little extra smoke on there, I'm not mad about it, but I don't think these are typically very smoky sausages at your average fish fry.
Definitely not.
And on the pit we go. Dave's already got his sausages on there, and I'm gonna put mine up front, and because I haven't air chilled these for very long, I'm gonna leave them all linked together so they don't bust out. And because Dave's going for a little more smoke, and I'm just kind of trying to cook these through, that's why I'm going up front a little closer to the fire. And probably where I'm sitting, we're gonna be around 225-ish, which should get some really nice smoke on these and cook these to about 150, which is what we're aiming for. So we'll check back in a little bit. It's been probably an hour, hour and a half on these Bad Larrys, and they are looking really nice. Definitely looking nice and smoky. So now that they've cooked a little bit, I'm gonna go through and snip these all apart. Now we got these all snipped apart, I'm gonna bump the temps up on this pit and bring these up to an internal temp of 150 degrees. All right, y'all, and after about an hour on the pit at 250, these are coming off and looking absolutely beautiful. Very nice and plump, feeling good, looking smoky. So now into an ice bath we go to stop the cooking process, shock the casings, and cool these down. They feel really good, nice and turgid. Probably let these hang out in the ice for probably about 10 minutes to make sure they're nice and cool. We'll pull them out. And just like that, out of the water bath, looking absolutely beautiful. I went through and wiped all these down with a paper towel to get rid of any soot marks because everybody loves a clean weenie. But at this point, these are fully cooked, fully smoked, and done. So I'm gonna pop these in the fridge until we're ready to use them tomorrow. This video is brought to you by Seed. Ooh. Seed's DSO1 Daily Synbiotic is a broad-spectrum probiotic and prebiotic formulated with 24 clinically and scientifically studied strains for whole body benefits including gut, skin, and heart health. And it comes in this cute little jar with travel case, and then you get refills in the mail like this to refill your jar. And in the barbecue world, my diet is not the best, so knowing Seed is helping with my gut health really helps me sleep at night. And essentially, DSO1 is whole body health, including digestive health, meaning I stay regular and everything's coming out all right, as well as promoting gut health, heart health, and healthy skin. And basically how it works is Seed studied the biologically active dose in each strain and ensure the full dosage of lab bacteria makes it to your gut and survives the mission through digestion. I've been taking Seed DSO1 for a while now, and not only does it give me peace of mind knowing that I'm putting something healthy into my body, but I also have noticed a lot of the benefits with smoother digestion, less bloating, and with all the rich meats I eat on this channel, I'll take all the help I can get. So if you're interested in a daily symbiotic to support your health, click the link in the description box down below taking you to seed.com, where using my code you can save 25% off Seed DSO1. Again, link down below, that's seed.com, where using my code you can save 25%. Thank you, Seed. Next up, let's go ahead and get our chips ready. And just like that, all chopped up. This is the shape I'm going for. This is about what they looked like when I had them over in England. Not too thick, not too thin, and that nice squared off shape. Over here at the stovetop, I've got a big pot of boiling water that I'm gonna season with a whole bunch of salt, as well as a splash of some white vinegar, and bring it down to a gentle simmer. And in we go with all of our taters. Gonna boil these for probably about 5-10 minutes, just till they're cooked through, but not completely falling apart. And after about 10-12 minutes, these are looking good, still holding their shape, but probing nice and tender and fully cooked. So out they come, onto a wire rack to drain. And now I'm gonna pat them dry and let these cool down, probably stick them in the fridge or the freezer until they're nice and cold. All right, now that these are sufficiently chilled, we're gonna do the first of 2 fries. So I got this oil heated up to about 250 degrees, and simply enough, in we go. Just gonna cook these for a couple of minutes at a really low temperature. That'll help get these extra crispy at the end. And after about 3-4 minutes out these come. Again, we're just trying to kind of set the outside without browning these too much. So now I'm gonna pull these out back on the wire rack and back into the freezer until we're ready to use them. A little off topic, but we're hanging out at the Chud shop with Dave, and I gotta show you what he just made. Ooh, it smells so good in here. Everyone go to Wilson's Barbecue, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch his seafood boil video because we're about to dive into this.
Why don't you treat me this well?
You get enough mackerel, buddy. Next up, let's go ahead and make a side dish for these fish and chips by making a UK classic, mushy peas. Starting by going into this pot with some water. Oh. As well as some of these. Bones, what kind of peas are these? Marrow fat? Marrow fat peas. These came dried, so we soaked them overnight in some water, which plumped them up quite a bit and softened them up already for us. But now we need to bring them up to a boil and make sure they're extra soft and mushy. So while these are boiling away, I clearly overboiled it, which is why the pan is all dirty, but all the skins came off the peas and they're starting to cook and get nice and mushy. So really, I'm just gonna keep cooking this just to reduce down this water. And at a really hard boil, it just kind of mushes the peas for you. Very easy recipe, because you really can't overcook it, which is convenient. I'm gonna go in with a pinch of salt though while I'm here and keep cooking. After cooking down for about 10 minutes or so, these are starting to look pretty mushy and pea-like. And full transparency, I've never made mushy peas before. I didn't look at any recipes. Dave just gave me about a 2-minute synopsis in the car earlier. And I've only had them once at Dave's house when we ate some UK fish and chips. But one thing I did notice is that they were a lot greener. Like, you know the relish on a Chicago dog? That kind of green. So we need to achieve that. But first we're gonna go in with everything else, including some butter, add some richness and body. Get that stirred in. Also gonna chiffonade some mint. Mint going in. And to make it extra green, a little green food coloring. Boop, boop, boop. Oh. And to make this extra smooth, I'm going in with the stick blender. All right, Dave, as someone who's eaten a lot of mushy peas, what do you think?
Yeah, surprisingly good. Perfect. I mean, you could add more stuff to it, more mint, more anything, but 10 different places, 10 different mushy peas, that would be acceptable to anyone. One last thing to make before we fire up the deep fryer, and that is a curry sauce served at every fish and chip joint in the UK. Started by making a roux by going in with some oil and some flour, equal amounts, and just get that cooking. And once cooked down, looking nice and dark, but not too dark, we're gonna go into some curry powder. Can't be much more simple than that. Dave's actively walking me through this. More, okay. And now we're gonna let this cook down, let all those spices bloom. And once cooked for just a minute or two, starting to smell really good in here, but it's also incredibly hot, so now we're gonna cool it down and go in with some homemade chicken stock. And one final ingredient going in is some applesauce. Dave, why applesauce?
Brings a little bit of sweetness to it. I think it's just one of those cheap tricks that chip shop places use.
So Dave and I have been tasting this and adjusting, just adding more curry powder, more salt, and it's starting to taste really good, but I think it needs a little bit of acidity, so we're going in with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Yep. But really, we're just kind of tasting this until it tastes really good to us. And there we have it, looking nice and thick, nice and tasty. Highly recommend it. It's very good. And finally, it's time to make our batter for the fish and chips and the battered sausage. Starting by going in with some flour. This is half all-purpose flour and half Wondra Flour. Give it some nice crispiness, as well as get some nice gluten in there for the color. Also gonna go in with some kosher salt, some baking powder, a little bit of sugar. That's gonna help with the color. But also to help with the color, Dave said, at the fish shops in England, a little bit of turmeric really gives it that nice color pop. So we're going in with some of that. And we're gonna get that mixed up. And as you can see, not super yellow, but a nice little hint. That'll aid us in the final product. Baking powder's in there to make it nice and puffy. The two flours will make it nice and crispy. And now it's time to add some beer. I'm going with a good old-fashioned Shiner Bock. 1 whole beer going in. I'm also gonna go in with some vodka as the other half of our liquid, and that's because this will evaporate really quickly, which will give us a lot of air pockets, not a lot of steam, so we end up with a very crispy fried fish / sausage. And once mixed together, this is what we're looking like. It looks a lot like mustard in real life. Not sure if the camera's picking that up, but nice and thick, not too thick, should cling to the fish very well. Dave's prepping the fish. This is some cod loin, looking absolutely beautiful. We're only gonna do a few because, in all honesty, we had a lot of barbecue today, and if that vlog isn't out yet, then you'll see it. But first things first, into some flour we go with these weens. That's just gonna help the batter stick a little bit. Dust it off. And that is officially the weirdest looking sausage I've ever held. But in we go. Boop. Right, so now out to the fryer. Got this fryer fired up to about 350 degrees. I'm just gonna grab one of these bad boys and drop it in. Loving this batter. Color of it is so cool. Let's start with 2, in case something goes wrong. I'm really just worried that they're gonna pop or something, or leach out. I don't know. We're just gonna see what happens. It's been just a couple of seconds, and other than the mess in the fryer, this is already starting to look really good, so I'm not nearly as worried anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in these other 2. Great way to make a mess of your deep fryer, folks. It's been about probably 8 minutes or so, and these things are looking absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure why I was worried, because that looks like a really good battered sausage. So I just temped one of these. It's reading right around 155 degrees, so I know it's warm through. So out these come. I mean, look at that. Have you ever seen a sausage that looks like that? That is crazy. Looks so crunchy. Come on, I want to take a bite of that. And now we go in with the fish. It really looks like I'm dropping mustard binded fish into a deep fryer. And just like that, after another 8 or so minutes, out these come, and I mean, just look at the magnificence. That is a beautiful looking, crispy piece of fried fish. I mean, come on, tell me you don't want to take a big crispy bite out of that deep fried piece of fish. Oh, love it. And last but not least, we cannot forget about the chips out of the freezer, going in. And out these come. They got a little bit darker than I was hoping for, but I think they're still gonna be really good. And there it is, folks, in all its glory, some scratch-made, deep-fried, battered sausage, this beautiful looking fish, and of course these chips, mushy peas, and the curry sauce. Boys, are you ready to dive in?
Yeah!
Let's do it. Where do we start?
I feel like you've got to all dip a chip in those mushy peas and see what's up.
All right, I'm going for it.
Have you got vinegar?
Is it good?
That's really good.
Kind of got a refried bean vibe.
It does.
I feel like I should be eating guacamole. It's not. That's really good.
I do like the texture. It is very reminiscent of refried beans.
I'm in for it.
But it's probably healthier, right? 4 sausages, 4 dudes. I mean, look how just crispy that is.
I'm going to have to stop you there.
Yeah,
You need salt and vinegar all around.
we got the good stuff.
Salt. I discovered salt whilst I've been in the US. And then just vinegar. Just
Oh
all
God,
over.
he's
I
going
know.
splashing.
Yeah. It's the only way to do it.
Now, the only thing that's really inauthentic is that it's not in a bag wrapped in paper right now.
Yeah.
Steaming everything out, but we'll have to look past that for here.
Yeah. It'd be good.
All right. I'm just very curious to see how this came out. It sounds so crispy.
So good.
That audio. Juicy sausage, clearly very crispy. That turned out a lot better than I was expecting.
That's a good sausage.
I don't think it's anything like the ones we had there, but
No, much better.
Yeah. To be honest, it's
Sorry, Dave.
No, I mean, this is like handmade, like well seasoned.
it's still juicy too, nice and crispy. That's good.
That's a good sausage, man.
What's the little sausage and curry sauce going to
Oh,
do to
I
this?
forgot about the curry sauce.
Yeah, gotta go in.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the bite.
You sick boy. I'm gonna double dip. I don't care.
That was a weak dip. I
Whoa.
gotta go back in. Boop. That makes it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the curry sauce. Wow.
Oh, good.
Whoa. The texture on the sausage, the crunch on the batter,
Yeah.
the sauce like brings everything together with the richness. Like it is, oh my God, it is all right there.
I thought this was gonna be like just a fun kind of. This is what we had at your place. Now we're gonna make it again. But I will definitely be making these again.
I'll keep dipping.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
gonna
care.
have to go for another dip.
All right, people. If you got a deep fryer at your restaurant, I want to see it on the menu.
Wow.
The fry on this is so much different.
It's a lot more
It's-
crunchy.
It's the crunch. Like in England, it was really soft. It
Yeah.
was like they put it in styrofoam,
Yeah,
and it was
it's been wrapped in paper for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it got
Yeah.
delivered. It sogs up, but that's part of the charm in a way.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Fresh
I see
fish
that.
and chips is one thing, and then like home delivery or like
Yeah.
takeout.
I picked this sausage up not expecting to eat the whole thing. And I am completely ready and able and down to just completely down this whole thing. Wow.
You're out of Craggle on there.
So good.
We got a bunch of these scrapple over here. What do you call these little snags?
Scraps.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. I literally just took a handful of batter and chucked it in the deep fryer, and these alone are just worth making.
Twiglets.
They're not twiglets. Much better than twiglets. I like the texture of it. It's all that bowl binder in there. It keeps it soft.
Yeah.
And they didn't burst in the fryer either. And also, no weirdness with the natural casing. We were worried about that. And now we got the fish because, if we got the batter, we're gonna throw some fish in there.
That's a fistful of fish.
I'm just gonna be rude. Oh, good one.
Boy.
Look at that.
Oh.
That is a perfectly cooked piece of fish right there.
That is phenomenal.
Oh,
big boy.
Sick boy. It's so hefty that I just have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in with the curry sauce here. Ooh. Look at the color. Oh my gosh. This is something else, man. Wow. Dip it. Take a bite.
I do like the crispiness. I would be interested if we did wrap this up,
Yeah.
how it would hold.
Yeah.
Probably not very well, especially with the fries and everything in there. Speaking of which, how are the fries?
The fries are good.
Fries are great.
I feel like if you walked into any fish and chip shop in the UK and bought these, you would be more than happy.
I feel like they're usually all stuck together. They're just like they come out as a clump.
Yeah.
I do think they got a little bit too dark. I remember the ones we had at your place.
They're very
really,
light,
very,
yeah.
very pale.
If it tastes good, it is good.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow, 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 wow.
I was complaining about how full I was like 2 hours ago, and now I'm just devouring fried food.
Hey, that was 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
That's a different Bradley.
that is great. Any final notes?
I think just the simple sausage with the batter, it just elevates it so much. Like this, the sausage is not something that to like shout at the rooftops.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the batter,
Texture
Yeah.
elevates it completely. And it's the same with the sausage when you're like snapping into a really good casing.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
like the texture of it like makes it.
it's everything. It's the snap, it's the crisp, it's juicy.
If I served this in England,
Yeah.
would I get laughed at?
No. I promise you that. You wouldn't.
All right, Chuds BBQ Fish and Chips pop-up, coming 2029. And with these very last 2 chips, because we actually ate everything we cooked, and I had to sneak these out of there. But I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely incredible fish and chips. That's got to be the best fish and chips I've ever made, ever had. It was so crispy, so flavorful. The texture alone is something I'm definitely gonna be making again very soon. And the battered sausage is honestly mind-blowing. It's a smoky link that is crunchy and deep fried. I mean, what's not to love about that? And the texture on that English-style sausage just works perfectly with it, pairs great with the fish, great with the chips, and that was a meal that I'll remember for a long time. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. The YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!